crowd roars as the lights dim, signaling the start of one of the most anticipated showdowns in MMA history. Two titans stand at the edge of the cage, their eyes locked, their every movement calculated. On one side, you have Yoel Romero, the Cuban juggernaut, known for his explosive power and relentless aggression. A man whose strikes have the power to end a fight in the blink of an eye. On the other, Jon Jones, the reigning king of the octagon, a fighter with unparalleled skill, creativity, and a mind that seems to anticipate every move before it happens. The clash of these two forces promises to be a spectacle unlike anything the MMA world has seen before. But what happens when a brutal force meets an unbeatable mind? What happens when strength alone isn't enough to overcome the genius of Jones' fight IQ? This is a battle that has been brewing for years, with both men carving their paths through the sport with distinct styles and approaches. Yoel Romero, the feared middleweight, has made a name for himself with his insane athleticism and knockout power, while Jon Jones, the dominant light heavyweight, has built his legacy on versatility, technical mastery, and an almost supernatural ability to control the pace of any fight. Fans have long debated what would happen if these two met in the cage, and now the moment of truth is on the horizon. Would Romero's raw power be enough to overcome Jones' strategy and control? Or would Jones' mastery of the fight unfold in ways Romero couldn't anticipate? The tension builds as both fighters exchange glances, each understanding the magnitude of the moment. Romero's focus is unshakable, a man who's fought in the most high-stakes scenarios imaginable. Jones, on the other hand, is the epitome of calm under pressure, his mind already racing through possibilities, calculating every angle. Their legacies, their pride, and their futures in the sport are all on the line. There is no room for error here. Romero has one shot to land his brutal strikes, and Jones has an entire arsenal of weapons, ready to dismantle his opponent with precision and technique. But there's a question that lingers in the air. How can anyone beat Jon Jones at his best? Many have tried, but none have succeeded. And yet, Yoel Romero stands before him, a man with a fighting spirit as fierce as any Jones has ever encountered. Romero's explosiveness, his speed, his power, they all seem like the perfect counter to Jones' finesse. But can raw power overcome the sharpest mind in MMA? As the clock ticks down, both fighters stand poised, knowing that only one will leave the cage with their hand raised. The stakes are higher than ever. Romero has the tools to win, but Jon Jones is a fighter who always seems to find a way, even when the odds are stacked against him. The cage door slams shut, and the world holds its breath. This is not just another fight. This is a clash of two of the greatest to ever step into the octagon. Who will reign supreme in this epic battle of strength versus strategy? The tension builds to an unbearable level. The bell rings, and the fight begins. The bell sounds, and the crowd's roar echoes through the arena, a deafening noise that pales in comparison to the intensity of the moment. Romero moves first, charging at Jones with a speed that defies his size, his hands swinging with the kind of power that has ended fights in mere seconds. Jones, however, doesn't flinch. His body shifts fluidly, effortlessly dodging Romero's heavy punches. Every move, every feint is calculated. He knows that if he allows Romero to land just one, it could all be over. The middleweight powerhouse's strikes are lethal, his muscle and speed enough to knock anyone out cold. Yet, Jon Jones is not just anyone. Romero presses forward, determined, refusing to give Jones a moment to breathe. The cage feels smaller with every passing second, and the tension between the two fighters grows, each waiting for the other to make a mistake. But as the seconds tick by, something unexpected happens. Romero, known for his explosiveness, begins to slow down. His movements a little less crisp, his breath heavier. His body, though still a mountain of muscle, starts to show signs of fatigue. Jones, on the other hand, remains calm, almost unnervingly so. His rhythm is unbroken, and he's picking his shots with clinical precision. It's as though he's dancing to a different beat than the rest of the world. Romero's frustration builds. He knows he's running out of time. His explosive bursts are no longer landing as effectively as they once did. Jones, ever the tactician, has found a way to neutralize the brute force of his opponent. He controls the distance expertly, striking when necessary, but never staying in range for too long. His strategy is clear. Wear down Romero, make him chase, make him tire himself out, and then capitalize on any opening. But there's one factor neither fighter anticipated. Yoel Romero is not just a fighter, he's a survivor. Despite the fatigue setting in, there's a fire in his eyes that won't be extinguished. And as Jones continues to control the pace, a shift occurs. In the middle of the second round, Romero, seemingly on the brink of exhaustion, finds a second wind. His movements become sharp again, and with one sudden, terrifying burst of speed, he charges at Jones. The crowd gasps. Jones barely manages to evade the attack, but for the first time in this fight, he's forced to backpedal. Romero's desperation has transformed into an almost primal instinct, the kind that only arises when a fighter is cornered and has nothing left to lose. He throws a vicious overhand right and attacks so fast, so powerful, it feels like it could shatter bones. Jones sees it coming, but this time, he doesn't dodge. He meets it head-on, countering with a perfectly timed elbow to the side of Romero's temple. The collision sends shockwaves through the crowd, and for a moment, the arena falls silent. Romero stumbles back, his legs buckling slightly as he tries to regain his balance. It's clear he's been rocked. Jones, however, shows no sign of slowing down. He steps in, sensing the moment of vulnerability, but as he moves in for the kill, something happens that no one could have predicted. Romero, like a man possessed, springs back to life. With one swift motion, he grabs Jones by the leg and takes him to the mat in a move that defies logic. The crowd erupts in disbelief. It's a desperate move, but one that might just change the course of the fight. On the ground, Romero unleashes a barrage of punches, hammering down on Jones with everything he's got left. The unexpected shift in momentum has taken everyone by surprise. Jones, known for his ability to control the ground game, finds himself in an unfamiliar position. Romero is wild, almost reckless in his attack, but he's landing heavy shots. Jones's face begins to show signs of damage, a cut above his eye forming as the ground and pound continues. For a brief moment, it seems like the fight could slip away from Jones. The quiet confidence he had in the opening minutes of the fight is fading, replaced with the realization that his opponent is more dangerous than he could have ever anticipated. Romero's power and tenacity have shaken him, forcing Jones to dig deeper than he's ever had to before. But just when it seems like Romero might have Jones on the ropes, a sudden shift in strategy catches everyone off guard. Jones, bloodied and battered, uses his superior grappling skills to scramble for position. In a lightning-fast transition, he reverses Romero's control, getting on top and beginning to work his signature ground game. The fight becomes a battle of wills, with both men refusing to back down, each one pushing their body beyond its limits. The tension is unbearable as every move could tip the scales in either direction. The question now isn't just who will win, but what kind of damage each fighter is willing to endure to get there. And just as the round ends, both men are left gasping for air, their bodies showing signs of wear, but their spirits unbroken. The third round begins, and both fighters are visibly exhausted, their movements slower, more deliberate. The energy of the crowd has shifted from electric excitement to a tense, almost reverent silence. What began as a battle of raw power and unrelenting strategy has transformed into a test of survival, a mental and physical war of attrition. Yoel Romero, though battered, is still dangerous. His eyes burn with the same fire they had at the start, his body pushed beyond its limits, yet still unwilling to give up. Jon Jones, however, is not the same fighter he was at the beginning of the fight. His face shows the wear of battle, the blood and sweat blending together as he tries to maintain his composure. His calm demeanor is now tinged with urgency. Romero has him on the edge. Romero presses forward again, relentless, throwing wild punches in an attempt to land that knockout blow. Jones, ever the strategist, slips and moves, using his reach and fight IQ to keep Romero at bay. But then, something unthinkable happens. Romero feints, catching Jones off guard, and lands a crushing uppercut that seems to stop time. Jones stumbles backward, his legs wobbling, the shock of the hit almost too much to overcome. The crowd gasps, sensing that this might be the turning point. Romero moves in, ready to finish it. But as he swings, Jon Jones digs deep within himself, summoning an inner strength no one saw coming. With a sudden burst of movement, Jones shoots in for a takedown, his long legs wrapping around Romero's torso and pulling him to the canvas in an unorthodox display of grappling. The Cuban powerhouse is momentarily stunned, unable to regain his footing as Jones moves swiftly to secure full mount. The tide has turned. Romero tries to escape, but Jones has him trapped in a position where his experience and control shine. The precision of his strikes to Romero's face is methodical, each punch calculated to break his opponent's spirit, not just his body. Romero fights back, his arms swinging wildly, but it's clear he's running out of options. In the final moments of the round, Jones locks in an arm triangle choke, a move that many believed would be impossible to pull off against someone as physically strong as Romero. The pressure mounts, and Romero's movements slow. For a few agonizing seconds, it seems as though he might escape, but then the inevitable happens. With one final twist, Jones tightens the choke, and Romero taps out, signaling the end of the fight. Jon Jones stands over his fallen opponent, his body bruised and battered, but his pride intact. He raises his hands in victory, the roar of the crowd deafening as the referee declares him the winner. But even in his triumph, there's a glimmer of respect in Jones's eyes, a recognition that Romero pushed him to the edge in a way few ever have. The fight was not just a showcase of physical ability, but a testament to the power of strategy, endurance, and the will to win. Romero, though defeated, is far from broken. As he is helped to his feet, the respect from the crowd is palpable. He fought with everything he had, and in the end, that's all anyone can ask of a warrior. He nods to Jones, acknowledging his skill, knowing that while this battle may be over, the war between these two will forever be a part of MMA history. The unexpected twist? The realization that even the greatest fighters, no matter how strong or skilled, are always tested. And when they face an opponent like Jon Jones, it's not just their bodies that are broken, it's their minds that are pushed to the brink. As Jones walks back to his corner, a smile crosses his face, but it's not a smile of arrogance, it's one of understanding. He knows that this fight, more than any other, has revealed a side of him he didn't even know existed. And with that realization, a new chapter begins. For in MMA, as in life, there are always new challenges, new warriors, and the ever-present question of what it takes to stay on top. Jon Jones has proven once again why he's the king of the octagon, but he also knows that a true champion never stops evolving.